Welcome to the channel if you're new, and welcome back if you've been desperately waiting for an update for this game. Either way, you're going to want to stick around because we're going to showcase the game as it is and talk about what's actually happening with it. Because now that my Foot Joust game is completed, this game is going to be in full production. Well, not full production, but I'm going to be focusing pretty much all of my efforts onto the game going forward. And it will be the main focus of the channel going forward as well. The only catch is that it's going to be a few months before I actually release an official devlog and not this unscripted thing that I'm doing right now. This is just to get everything back on track and get everyone up to date and tell them what's happening. I need to get a lot of work done on the game before I can start making the devlogs, because I want to start making it into a regular series, which I assume some people have been waiting for, judging by the recent amount of dislikes on my recent videos that aren't related to this, since the last video was 7 months ago. And from when I start the devlog series, I want to try and make it every couple of weeks, at least once a month. Twice a month would be nice, but it just depends on the content that I'm working on for the game, just so we can keep everything rolling and pushing forward for the rest of the year. Alright, so what you're watching me do now is just do a regular dungeon run. I would have switched between a bunch of different items, like using the staff earlier. There's items that are like food and consumables, and potions you can use throughout your run, and then in the dungeons you can find and smash these barrels with other stuff going on. And then right here we've reached the end of the dungeon. Once you reach the end of the dungeon, you will get a skill point, which you can assign to your stats. There's playtime and a bunch of other stuff. So this is the permanent progression in the game of the roguelike stuff, and then you level up your dungeon level, and with each preceding level the dungeon gets bigger and bigger. At this point we've got 5 rooms, and I've just limited it to 5 rooms just for demoing and testing for now. As you can see, nothing saves, so I've created dozens and dozens and dozens of items and food and armor and weapons and wands and all that sort of stuff that you can equip, which is what took a really long time last time, and all these items equip here. So we'll do a run with this mage spell, staff thing, and each item here has some sort of effect. You can see here, if I equip this little dagger, my run speed is up by 1. So where do the roguelike elements actually come in? So even though there's progression, there's permanent progression, which is to do with the stats you have here. If you die in the dungeon, you pretty much just lose all of your items, but you keep your dungeon level, you keep your base stats that you've leveled up and equipped. But everything, if I were to die in this dungeon, and basically you would drop all of your items in the game so far. So we've got mage spells. Different items have different weights, so you can run faster and slower depending on what you've got. And each item also has an upgraded version depending on whatever level they are. So it starts off with Rusty, which has no stats, and then it goes up to Iron, and then Viridium, and a bunch of other ones that I've already completely forgotten about. And then we've got food, like this one that I've just equipped here, which will... I've lost the description already. Which will increase a bunch of stats temporarily, and when that disappears, it'll go away. So if we go back to my inventory... so it gives a description, but doesn't tell you the exact stats. Thought I'd keep this a little bit secret. So that's magic, and what else have we got? So we got daggers. Daggers attack really fast. There we go, destroying barrels. And then we've got, we just drop all this stuff and get a bunch of new items. We'll generate. So at this point, there are no items in the game, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to balance it, and the best way for enemies to drop it, and where to get things from. So that would be probably the next point of focus. And also working on this map up here. Getting a more detailed map where these join up better as well. Alright, so we'll generate a new inventory. And everything's rusty, so nothing's gonna do much. Try that again. So as you can see, there's just so many different items that I've created for the game. We've got a heavy weapon as well. So big ones like, where's it gone? This one here. Yeah, so you can see the player's starting to walk slower because it affects the speed stats. And they hit slower, but harder. And when you die, yeah, you perished and you go back to the very start of the game. So the game will be set in a place called the Perilous Pint, which will be like a pub and a tavern where it originates, and you go into this mysterious maze of randomly generating rooms where all these adventurers are trying to solve the riddle and the puzzle and the mystery behind the maze and try and find the end, which is something that is still being written at this point. And every time you level up a dungeon level, the enemies get harder. You've got stuff up in the corner. You've got dust, and there's coins. Dust you'll take to like a blacksmith and upgrade your weapons and everything. So we'll just do one more run, I think, just to demonstrate the game. But I would really, really like to get this game completed this year, which is kind of ambitious, but I said I was going to make this game in a month. Yeah, better equip more. We'll just equip more stuff, like a big, this big sword and armor that will actually do stuff, and a hat. Then we got some food, increases attack power. There we go, like that. Because we've got this big heavy sword, we're going to walk a bit slower. And we're out of energy, which is the blue bar that allows for the attacks with the bottom right stick if it's not like a mage weapon. And we've got all these barrels that replenish your resources and give you gold and the dust, the purple dust stuff. But I don't really have, I've got things planned of how the game's going to go. I don't know what direction I'm going to go with it next. I kind of just go with the flow of whatever I feel like working on, and that'll reflect in the next devlog that'll come out in a few months, hopefully. Alright, so we've reached the end of the dungeon again. And with that said, I really look forward to getting back into this game. And it would be a great help if you make sure you're subscribed to the channel, you check out the Discord link that is below. Comment any feedback, anything you want to see in the game, even if you're just assuming how the game works, roguelike elements you like. I've got a whole bunch of stuff planned that I can't list off the top of my head, but they're there. And then we'll go from there. So I will see you guys in a few months, and thanks for your patience.